Legs akimbo, also known as legs apart or feet shoulder width apart, is a body language posture that is often associated with dominance and confidence. It involves standing with one's feet shoulder width apart and their arms crossed over their chest, forming a power pose. This stance can be seen as a way of displaying one's strength and authority, and it is often depicted in Western cowboy films. In this position, the person appears confident and strong, as if they are ready to face any challenge head-on. They may also seem more in control and less likely to back down in a conflict or argument. This can be an effective posture to adopt in situations where you want to convey a sense of confidence and assertiveness, such as in a job interview or during a presentation. However, it's important to note that body language is just one aspect of communication. While legs akimbo may convey a sense of confidence and dominance, it can also be perceived as aggressive or confrontational. It's important to consider the context and the other person's body language, as well as to use other forms of communication, such as verbal and nonverbal cues, to effectively convey your message. For example, if you are in a negotiation with someone and adopt a legs akimbo stance, it may come across as confrontational and make the other person feel threatened or defensive. This could lead to a stalemate, with neither party willing to budge. In this case, it would be more effective to adopt a more open and neutral posture, such as standing with your arms at your sides or with your hands clasped in front of you. Body language is a powerful form of communication, and it can significantly affect the outcome of a conversation or conflict. It's important to be aware of the messages you are conveying with your posture, facial expressions, and gestures, and to use them effectively to communicate your thoughts and feelings. In addition to body language, it's also important to pay attention to your verbal and nonverbal cues. Verbal cues refer to the words you use, while nonverbal cues include your tone of voice, facial expressions, and gestures. These cues can reinforce or contradict the messages you are conveying with your body language, so it's important to be aware of them and to use them effectively. For example, if you are in a disagreement with someone and you adopt a legs akimbo stance, but you are speaking in a calm and measured tone of voice, you may be able to defuse the tension and come to a resolution more easily. On the other hand, if you are using a confrontational tone of voice or making threatening gestures, even if your body language is neutral, you are likely to escalate the conflict further. Effective communication is about being aware of all the cues you are conveying and using them in a way that is respectful and constructive. It's also about being open to the other person's perspective and finding ways to meet both parties' needs and desires. When it comes to conflicts and arguments, it's important to remember that they are a normal and inevitable part of any relationship. Whether it's with a colleague, a friend, or a loved one, disagreements are bound to happen from time to time. The key is to handle them in a way that is respectful and constructive, and to work towards a resolution that works for everyone involved. This may involve compromising on certain points, finding common ground, and being open to the possibility of being wrong. It's also important to remember to listen actively, pay attention to body language and verbal and nonverbal cues, and try to understand the other person's perspective. By following these tips, you can navigate conflicts and arguments with more confidence and grace, and come to a resolution that works for both parties. In conclusion, legs akimbo is a body language posture that is often associated with dominance and confidence. While it may be effective in some situations, it's important to consider the context and the other person's body language, as well as to use other forms of communication in order to effectively convey your message and navigate conflicts and arguments. Effective communication is about being aware of all the cues you are conveying and using them in a way that is respectful and constructive. It's also about being open to the other person's perspective and finding ways to meet both parties' needs and desires. By following these tips, you can improve your ability to handle conflicts and arguments in a healthy and productive way.